But welcome to my 20 minutes, half an hour that I'm giving myself every Saturday morning for healing and for reflection and just either positivity or something that I'm bringing to my day that helps me with grieving and growing and getting stronger. We just slipped. So yeah, today though it's International Women's Day. So I really wanted to think about the women that have inspired me, and there's a lot of women who have inspired me, and I want to know who inspires you. Who would you like recognised on International Women's Day? And no, sorry, Luna, you're not quite a woman yet. So you might hear Luna in the background. Yeah, she likes to be make herself known. Actually, she wants to go upstairs. 1 minute. Anyway, so it's International Women's Day. So who are you celebrating? Who have you looked up to? Either in your childhood, as an adult? Is there someone that you've related to? You know, for me, there's quite a few people that have inspired me. And then there's people that I've maybe related to and not really realised how much we have in common. So one of those people is Rowetta, who most people would know her from Happy Mondays. If anyone has been seeing what's been happening with Rowetta recently, so we're on Facebook. She's also from Manchester, which is where I'm from. And Rowetta, recently, I'll say sometime last year, I think it was, spoke about wanting to know if anyone else had been part of this model agency in Manchester, where actually there was a lot of abuse reported there. And oh, this cat is driving me mad. Yeah, so Rowetta had been in this model agency that I went to as a teenager, and I don't know what her experiences were, but all I can tell you is this model agency was run by a policeman, an ex-policeman, and so the adults thought he's a safe person to leave our daughters with. They couldn't have been more wrong. Now, for me, I'll tell you from my version of what it was like going to that model agency. Going to that model agency meant going into a tall, thin building where parents weren't allowed because it was tall and it was a very narrow staircase, a lot of young girls coming up and down the stairs. And we used to go there and we used to start off, I think it was maybe a green card. You were given a green card and you'd go there for a class on a Saturday. And you'd be taught to walk, posture, everything. And then at the end of your class, there'd be a bit where all the classes came together, and where the walkway was, the runway, there'd be girls that were sat on chairs, and those were the girls that were the top girls. They were the girls that were getting paid to model. They were the girls that had worked their way up the cards to, and I think there was about 4 or 5 groups, to go through to be one of those girls. They'd be there sat on the chairs. the rest of us, we're sat on the floor watching the, everyone's having to get up and show what their routine, what they've learned. Anyway, Rowetta was one of those girls. She was one of those girls. I don't remember her from the time, but I always thought her face looked familiar. But we're both from Manchester, and although Manchester's thought to be a big place, it is also a very small place. So, I remember one time, because this is going to sound really weird, but I went to. You used to have to be weighed, and I can't remember whether it was monthly or whether you were just picked out, but you'd have to be weighed. Now, we used to do our classes in a swimsuit or a leotard and high heels. Now, on this occasion, I was told to go and get weighed, go in the other room, get changed, and to be weighed. You have to take your swimsuit off to be weighed and wrap a towel around you. Now, how does that make sense? I don't know. How much does a leotard or a swimsuit weigh? Then, but obviously we didn't pick up on it, and neither did our parents, I assume. I don't know. I never heard any concerns mentioned around that time. But one time this happened, and I was getting weighed, and I'd come out of the room, and Peter Martin, that ran the agency, who was the ex-policeman, he came out of his room, his office, and put his arm around me and told me how well I was developing. That made me feel really uncomfortable, and I couldn't tell you how it made me feel uncomfortable, but I lost interest in going modelling. Thank goodness, because like years later, after how many girls had been abused, I don't know, how many girls aspired to be those girls who were being abused. Later, it was found that he was filming in the room that was where you got changed. So obviously how he knew, when he said I was developing well, I don't think he meant my walk. And those girls that were on the chairs used to get taken to well-respected people in the community. It was like a paedophile ring of judges and magistrates. Obviously, he had a lot of connections. They'd be taken for photo shoots to these houses where they'd be drugged or given drink and abused. So I saw Rowetta put a post up about this, I think last year, and I wasn't totally surprised because, as I say, Manchester's a small place, and a lot of girls would have gone to that agency. So yeah, so there is one. I really admire that she actually spoke out and said, did anyone else experience anything with Peter Martin and this modelling agency? I think it was, I don't even want to say the name in case I get the name wrong because it's gone from my head right now. But also she's just recently started speaking out. I don't think it's not even recent. I've known like she's experienced domestic abuse, but I don't really follow people like that and get into their business. So, but I've only seen it being spoken about really because she's being criticised and being called a liar. That Sean Ryder used to physically abuse her, and actually he knocked her out once on a boat in front of people. And I think she's spoken about it previously publicly, but actually right now, because she's getting criticism about it, she's actually defending herself and said, well, yeah, it did happen. I've never lied about it. He never denied it at the time either. But yeah, now it's being questioned about her saying it. Obviously, she's left the Happy Mondays. And people are like, well, how come you still continued? Look, here she is. This is Luna. So how come she still continued to work with the band and with him for all that time, and yet she's saying she was abused? She's even said, like, look, honestly, I need the finances. Like, and how common is it that as a woman you have to make decisions of not making abuse you've gone through a big thing? One, because it makes other people uncomfortable. Two, because financially, if you speak about it, you might end up homeless. Let's face it. And obviously, if you've got an opportunity, financially and professionally, that is a good move. But it means that you have to work with someone who has abused you in the past, but you are safe right now from that abuse, or feel like you could be safe from that abuse, and you can keep yourself safe. Some women, you have to make decisions like that, and it's unfair that you've got to make those decisions. But yeah, it's just really difficult to being a woman speaking out about this stuff. But obviously she's speaking about it, and yeah, so she's speaking about it, but coming under fire for it, and I think it's really unfair. And at the same time as well, she's caring for her mum. So right now, Rowetta, I love that she's still standing by what she said. She's still she's speaking honestly about what she's been through and why. And she's still continuing, even though she's coming under so much abuse from people, which is totally unfair. And along that line as well, I don't know if anyone's seen Tim Rudehouse's research that's just come out, and it's to do with domestic abuse and suicide. So basically, women are more likely to end their own lives when they're being abused in a relationship, and if there's sexual abuse in that relationship, they're 7 times more likely to attempt suicide. I think Luna's coming back. Right back. And you know, and I think society needs to look about why is that, and put in services and support and alter the systems to take that into account, because it really, it's life and death, it's killing women. And on International Women's Day, I feel like it needs to be recognised that there's still a lot wrong with this world. Hey Luna, what you say? Look, she's back again. But yeah, and this needs a lot of attention, because suicide, for instance, when my daughter died, you know, it basically just looked at as, yeah, your daughter made a decision which ended her life. It's not that simple. And actually, we need to look at why people are ending their lives or wanting to end their lives. We need to look at it. And especially where there can even be history of domestic abuse, and someone goes to the doctors and they'll be diagnosed with depression or anxiety, and actually it's the situation they're in. It's the boyfriend who's causing them anxiety, and their life is depressing. It's not them that's depressed, their life is depressing. um, they are being they are anxious because like they don't know if they're going to get hit today. They don't know if today the thing they do every day may annoy the person they live with. It might be that they don't even do anything wrong. It might not even be them. It might be that someone knocks on the door that the person's thinking, their partner's like, oh, why is that person knocked on the door? I've even had it with, in the past, I was in an abusive relationship, and I even had it where a wrong number, someone phoned the landline, and it was a wrong number. But for my ex-boyfriend, no, that must be someone I'm like seeing. There's a reason, it couldn't have just been a wrong number. And the impacts of living on the edge like that, it's like, come on, that's not you have anxiety. That is someone is making you anxious. And then the thing is, when you're going through that and you're being given the diagnosis of you're an anxious person, you're depressed and whatnot, you have post-traumatic stress maybe, like it's all like as though you are to blame. Anything that happens from that point on, it's because you're depressed, it's because you're anxious, it's because you oh Maya, I miss you too. You have to come over one day. Come over and see me. So yeah, but it's I'm just speaking about domestic abuse, and because there's a new report come out, some new research, which we all know, like domestic violence does um, cause women to end their lives, and yeah, there needs to be changes. There needs to be systemic changes, and there needs to be changes within society, recognizing it and knowing how to support someone. Thanks for the rose, and then I feel like this is additionally if someone has autism or is autistic, should I say, if someone's autistic, there's even more complexities there when it comes to domestic abuse and the risk of suicide. And then again with the diagnoses again. So quite often girls and women who are diagnosed autistic are often misdiagnosed as having borderline personality disorder if beforehand. So obviously it's put on the person as though there's something wrong with them, and then if they meet someone who's abusive, they've already got the upper hand. They're already able to manipulate and be able to lay the blame on them rather than the way they're behaving causing anxiety and depression. So what we're finding as well is a lot of suicides, even if there's a history, it's not looked at. Even if it is looked at, it's kind of downplayed. And then the perpetrator of the domestic violence um, isn't even investigated most of the time. Even if they're investigated, it's the perpetrator doesn't really get a sentence as such. All you have to do is look at Kiana, who, she wrote a letter saying, I'm doing this because my partner has been slowly killing me. Like, he's been killing me and I can't see, when you're in that situation quite often, you cannot see a way out and you want to cause the pain and you think, what are you contributing? Because actually you're so low and feel useless, because that's what they do. The perpetrators make you feel useless. Yeah, it's very much ignored. Maya is really downplayed, and it's seen as if you put in a complaint about anything to do with this, it's seen as a low level, when actually it's high level because it can lead to life and death. And the police know like domestic violence kills. They know, and they know, like, it's known to services that actually if you have poor mental health, the likelihood is you've experienced domestic abuse or sexual abuse. And if you, yeah, and if you have poor mental health, you're also more susceptible to be targeted, to be abused. Yeah, so it really confuses me as well that how they put these orders in that the perpetrator has to stay away from you and your home, and then actually when perpetrators like break that, they don't really do anything. Yeah, and it just shows as well, like, because quite often the men, they know they can still continue harassing you and turning up, showing up. They even do it through the court system, continue the abuse. So yeah, the system needs changing a lot. We I think they also need to be recognised more as well that when someone's really struggling, and you know, when someone gives up fighting, when someone you know, maybe is trying to reach out for help but then stops. Yeah, once they know the police can't do anything or don't do anything, they just increase it, don't they? They just increase their behaviour because, you know, and in their heads as well, I'm sure they think, well, yeah, it's because the police know she's lying. It's because the police believe me. As soon as they don't do anything, they've sided with the abuser. Happens all the time. Actually happens all the time. So they need to be, the police need to be stricter um, with their laws and enforcing them. Obviously, services need more funding, like for domestic abuse services. If it hadn't been for Women's Aid having a refuge, I would have still been in Manchester, and I can't even say I'd have been away from him because it was really hard. Hang on, which one's, look, Suki wants to go out. 1 minute. Watch in 2 minutes, she'll want to be back. Yeah, but they do. They think, yeah, they can do anything. So, but yeah, we need more shelters. I remember hearing once they were considering shutting down a shelter because people in that area weren't using it. And I think those people that were saying that and making those decisions didn't understand that actually a refuge, you want to be in a refuge out of your area. You don't want to be in the town you live in where they're going to find you. Yeah, and there's smaller. Yeah, there's only a small percentage of abusers goes to jail, and then they get such a small sentence, and quite often they continue abusing you from prison. But yeah, watch out. You know, if someone confides in you as well, like you need to be able to listen without judging them. But there's a real knack of, like, you quite often someone will need professional help, but you've kind of got to do it in a way that you're not blaming them for not having done it already. You're not going, you need to do this. Like, don't become the person telling them what they have to do. Although actually, someone told me what to do and it got me out because I was just too tired to argue with anyone else. They were like, actually, no, you're going. My mum said there's a refuge and I'm taking you to the refuge and I don't know where it is, but I know the street and we're going to knock on doors until we get the right door. That is how I found the refuge. And I think it's only because I had a mashed up face. Like, they let me in. They let me in. They spoke to me. But at the same time, I knew my ex can do the same thing and knock on all the doors. Someone would tell him where the refuge is. But you serious, Maya? So someone, Maya just said, a random man broke her face in London because she didn't give him her number. That's disgusting. No, I didn't even know that. Did not know that. I'm so sorry. Was he caught? Did he get done for it at all? Like, wonder how many times he's done that. Like, you just think someone to do that in public, like, what do they do behind closed doors? If you believe you can do that to a stranger in public, how do you think you can treat a woman who loves you? Nothing happened. That's disgusting. Cameras at the station weren't working. It was actually was it actually at a train station or a tube station that happened? Do you know, it amazes me as well, people can walk past you while you're getting beaten up. I was being dragged down an escalator in Boots in Manchester, and it was packed. It was packed. There were people in front of us, there were people behind us, and everyone just carried on. Everyone was just there, carried on about their day. Not one person said, "Get off her," or "Leave her alone," or "Do you want me to call for help?" or even discreetly called for help. So that security, I mean, you think Boots would have had security there. No one went and got security or the police to intervene. Like, literally, he was trying to throw me down the escalator. Um, yeah, and you'd have thought somewhere like Harrow Station, where your attack happened, like, you'd expect that somebody would intervene. Like, yeah, that's terrible. But yeah, I mean, I just hope. I mean, like, to be honest, though, did anyone intervene with you, Maya? Did anyone help? Um, why did no one stop him leaving the scene? Like, a stranger punches you you know, and I think too often it is that thing where people go, "Oh, it's a domestic, don't want to get involved. It's their problem," and actually, no, it's all our problem. And you don't know. No one should be getting abused like that. No one should be getting hit, whether it's a man or a woman. Um, he was a lot he's older than you, in his 30s. And how old were you, Maya, when that happened? 1 month into being 19, and he was in his 30s, and everyone just walked past. That's disgusting. Uh, there's so much needs to change. I know I followed someone before when I can't remember what I saw or heard, but I knew something was not right. A woman had been hit, or the way the man was speaking to her, or he was holding on to her, like, it's not okay. And I knew me, I mean, I was a lot younger then as well. I didn't feel able to intervene and go, and help. I didn't feel able to do that. But what I did instead was followed from a safe distance and called the police and followed so I could keep updating about where they were. So there are ways of supporting someone if you think someone's been abused, whether you know them or not, there's ways of supporting. Sorry, a month after your 18th. Oh God, I can't even say 18th. So a month, that's just terrible. It's just, you just think it's so weird. Yeah, cute cat. Sorry, I'm a bit late with that one. She's very cute. But yeah, yeah, I mean, it shouldn't happen at any age, but you just think, come on, people watching, you see a young girl, is there nothing in you that wants to protect that young girl from a man who appears to be in his 30s. Like, you don't look and think, whew, that's not a fair fight. Like, even if you just think, oh, it's, you know, but the fact that, even, oh, it's just a domestic, you just think, how is that even okay? Oh, it's just child abuse. No, we don't think of it like that. Domestic abuse is not okay. So yeah, there's a lot needs to change. Um, but yeah, in services, I mean, you look at it. You look at girls and women that are autistic as well. There's a fine line between care and control, or anybody with a disability. Like the person who looks as though they're caring and supporting the other can often be controlling the other. They can often be affecting their mental health just by belittling them and using the fact they're autistic or got a BDP diagnosis or anxiety, depression diagnosis, whatever diagnosis, like they use it against them. Oh, you're always like thinking like that. You always worry over nothing. Oh, you're always paranoid that I'm cheating. Yeah, no, I just stayed out overnight. I just fell asleep at my friend's on his settee, and but yet if you go to a shop, he comes with you to make sure you're safe. Make sure you're safe. Is it to make sure you're safe? Is it to make sure you're not chatting to no one on the way? I know when I was with that abusive ex, like literally, if I went to the bar and someone spoke to me at the bar, oh my God. And you're just like, they're not chatting me up. They're not. Literally. Um, yeah, but it's always turned on you, as though you should have stopped that happening as well. You shouldn't have let that man talk to you. Like, what the hell? Sometimes even women, not even allowed to speak to other women because they might be into you, and yeah. But yeah, no, so much needs to change. But I think I've got a lot more to say about this subject. and um, and obviously this is about inspirational women. So I also want to shout out Dr. Jones MBE, Dr. Danesh Jones. She does so much with so much work to do with safeguarding autistic girls. She works within the NHS, and she advocates and advises, and she's just done so much work to do with improving the systems and calling out some of the systemic failures. So I just wanted to shout out Dr. Carly Jones. She actually spoke at the Every Little Thing festival as well that I created in my daughter's memory. And she also spoke, I don't know if you don't know, in Diva's memory there was a panel talk at Glastonbury because Diva had requested that they did a panel talk about neurodiversity, and it happened. And Dr. Carla Jones was one of the speakers. So yeah, but I also wanted to shout out Rowetta for keeping it real, for saying it how it is, and not being silent, not allowing people to silence her. So, but yeah, that's me done. Yes, Maya, come and give me a shout. You still got my phone number. You can just message, and we'll sort out a time you can come over, and we'll have a catch up. Right, take care and enjoy your weekend. And don't forget, please, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Look up Sinead Gibson or Sinead Shines Light. You'll find me. And I'm also on TikTok and Instagram. Just look for Sinead Gibson. Thank you. Have a good day. Take care. Bye. Oh, Luna says bye too. Bye.